Hello, hello. It is slightly earlier than normal start today at, if I could type, 8:15. So we'll see who's here. But yeah, yesterday we worked on the save system and I made some progress, but I did not make it as far as I wanted to. And I want to test something right now. This. I should probably add a JSON type resolver for generated ability to remove this cast. I think we can do this, but I'm not positive. And everything always just baffles me here. So yeah, let's go take a look. Generated ability. So what happens if I do this? You can't make a generated ability, actually. What am I doing? Or can you? It's an abstract class. All right, I don't know. Hey, Kevin. I guess... yeah, I don't know what we can do here. Pop value. I guess we could indicate... I don't know. How do we know that positive ability is a generated ability? What if we just didn't... What if we just didn't care? What if I just said type of generated ability? No, but then we need an ID. It doesn't have an ID. I guess I could add a discriminator here. Gen. Ability does not exist. I think that's just stale. Buenos dias. Good day to you, Kevin. Man. I can't believe how much time I've spent on like this feature, basically, and nothing else. Is this working now? Oh, yeah. Then we need to change this too. Okay, so let's go do that. These become generated abilities. And now this should be correct. Okay. Hey, Reed. Well, hello. Yeah, happy Thursday. Okay, looks like everything broke. Well, actually, it looks like things broke for the wrong reason here. Not supported by derived type for polymorphic type. Base ability derived types must be assignable to the base type. Must not be generic and cannot be abstract classes. Unless fallback to nearest ancestor is specified. I think what I'm trying to do is not possible here. So here's what's going on. We have a base ability class. And this is abstract. Abstract class base ability. Then we have generated ability, which is also abstract. And then we have some specific generated ability. So I'll say like specific ability 1, which is a generated ability, specific ability 2, specific ability 3, and so on and so forth. I want to save generated abilities. But apparently, yeah, I guess it makes sense that I wouldn't be able to. The whole point of saving something in JSON is that it's got to construct that thing. So what it's saying here is derived types must be assignable to the base type, must not be generic, cannot be abstract classes. C# JSON deserialize abstract class. Yeah, I would have to know what class to deserialize into. One may not want to use type name handling. Custom creation converter approach. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not doing this. I should probably write this down. Do we have anything about abstract classes? No. Let's go do that. Deserialization problems. Cannot deserialize into an abstract class. All right, so we just copied this. Yeah, I want to have some better notes on this stuff. Okay, so in the example above, abstract class generated ability inherits from abstract class base ability. So when we try deserializing a generated ability, it can't be constructed. There are a few solutions here, right? A converter. I'll just copy this so that your specific data. Actually, this is general like deserialization issue I should probably talk about somewhere. Because we hit the same thing yesterday with the whole JSON constructor problem. Where is that? There's something about quests. Yeah, here it is. Well, no, maybe that wasn't it. And this constructor, there are two problems. JSON constructor. Is this the parameterless constructor thing? No, it isn't. Okay, cannot deserialize into an abstract class or one without a parameterless constructor. Error message for abstract class. Error message for no parameterless constructor. Did I write this down? I don't think so. No, I want to get the error message. No parameterless constructor, JSON. Sample error message, sample error message. Yeah, I think it's this. Not exactly that. Ah, here it is. Non-public parameterless constructor is not used for deserialization. There should be, there's this, but they don't talk about what to do about it. Oh, well, I should mention this somewhere. But I want to get the full error message, and I can't find it. Is it this? No, this is the same thing I found earlier. Man. Ah, is it this one? No. Parameterless. The word parameterless shows up, I think. I don't know why I can't find this, though. Huh. No one's got the full error message. I guess at this point, I should just create the problem myself. Oh man, that's kind of a shame. All right, so I guess let's undo everything I did here. Turn these back to generated abilities because it's just easier that way. And same thing over here, turn these back into base abilities. What's going on? Oh, it's just bad syntax highlighting. And then what, that's it? Oh, and then delete this too. I messed something up, but it's just a comma. Oh, these aren't commented. They're gray like they're commented, but they're not. I should probably just reload VS Code at this point. Okay, let's try running that. I expect this to run because I think we've reverted everything back to what was working. Like, I didn't put any thought into this. So it should work. Yeah. Now, what happens if we go change this? Have you had to reload it as often? It seems like it's been practically as often, just for different reasons. And I never really knew what the reasons were originally anyway. So I guess we'll just hope that they eventually fix all these problems. I don't have a lot of hope in that. Jason type resolver. What other types do we have here? Battle perks. I'm trying to think of a way that I could break this, but just for one thing. Maybe we put something here like in X and try running it. That might cause this to happen. I don't actually know. There is no argument that corresponds to the required parameter X. Oh, we make a new one of these things. Okay, that obviously won't work then. Oh, come on. Come on. All right, I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, is there some way I can find this? Yeah, this is the issue I want to see. Not derived from JSON. Where is the full error message? Huh. Hey, Skeleseller. Badly generated AI videos. Yeah. JSON constructor. Parameter list constructor. Man, I really want to find this. And I just can't. Hey, Epley. One of my biggest problems is building an application from scratch. Any tips or just continued practice? I think I need to know what the problem actually is. Like, is it that you don't do any design or coding because it's daunting? Is it you jump right to coding and it's hard without design? Is it making the right tech decisions? Yeah, like what exactly is difficult? Because I think all of those have potentially different solutions to them. Hey, gooooo. I jump right to coding and it's hard without design. Okay, so I think there are two main kinds of design you should probably do before you start a new project. And one is the actual like product design. Figure out what are you even planning to make? Who would use it? Why would they use it? And what are the features? Yeah, I don't know, things like this. And then a little bit of code design of like, how will the pieces fit together for this? So product design, I think, should be pretty straightforward in terms of what you need to accomplish with it. With the code design, what you're trying to accomplish is like, what will make this code base maintainable? And like, yeah, what's the best way to structure things? These are all very similar questions here. So let's say you're making a game. Your product design would be, you know, what's the game? So I'm making Animal Crossing with Doom graphics. I don't know why. And then this will appeal to, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you write out your product design. For your code design here, you might be like, okay, it's multiplayer. So we're going to need a server somewhere. But we don't really care too much about cheating. It's going to be like people playing with their friends. So let's do a peer-to-peer setup. And then you start to define like, okay, now what's going to handle your synchronizing of game state? How do we do this? You maybe prototype out the multiplayer aspect. Maybe then you mess around with like, okay, what's going to do the AI for the villagers? And I don't know. You break this down based on the actual game you're making. It might help a bit. And then practice will make it even easier for you, of course. But a lot of the issue is you may not start projects often. Like I started Skeleseller back in what, April of last year. When was the next project I started? I don't think there has been one yet. So even if you get practice at this, starting a new project, let's say every 2 years, enough things will have changed in terms of tech that your specifics once you get to writing your first line of code might be very different from your last project that you did. But at least the general aspect is always going to be the same. Like you need to know what you're making before you make it to some extent. Hey Shot, hey Sunny. I don't know what time it is in your country, but here it's 11 a.m. So good morning. It's 8:30 right now. So yeah, we're not too far off. All right. Yeah, and the other thing, Yupply, is don't worry too much. Like, don't let, what is it? What's it saying? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. The enemy of good. So you don't need to start a project and know literally everything. Just get something going, and then as you go, you'll realize, okay, yeah, that was a mistake. Here's why I should do things different next time. This thing doesn't work for this particular project. Let's do something else. Because I think this is another thing that's kind of daunting for newcomers to coding in general. They think like, what's the best way to learn coding? Like, how do I make sure I'll make no mistakes or something like that? And it's like, these are not productive questions in general. I know you're not asking that, but I don't think a newcomer knows why they're not productive. Like if coding was something that you did that was super high risk, like, I don't know, your life was at stake, then yeah, you probably want to make sure you're not making mistakes. It's like, how do I go rock climbing? How do I scale Mount Everest or something? Like those are things you don't want to mess up. But coding, just like, yeah, learn, make mistakes, try things out. I think another problem for me is knowing every single part of the tech stack. Like for example, knowing React, knowing TypeScript, knowing the backend. Yeah, and maybe you can break that up. Other ways you can address that problem are like take on other people working on it. So maybe they're friends, maybe you hire people, maybe you, I don't know, get some like open source software to do that thing. And that way you're focusing on just the parts you want to learn. If you were talking about game dev here, one of the things that I suggest for new game devs is just clone a game so that you ignore the design of that game. Making Tetris from scratch was probably like a stroke of genius. Tetris is just a very elegant game. But like, you don't need to be a genius to copy Tetris. You shouldn't sell it after you've copied it, right? If it's just for learning, you can clone whatever you want. And that way you're focusing on just the development aspect, not the design aspect. So I think it's kind of the same thing. If you're like, okay, front end, back end, graphic design, whatever else, and I only want to focus on front end, then like find a way to not have to do the other parts. Where am I from? 3 hours time difference between us is not too far. I'm in Washington State, which is the northwestern part of the continental US. So just below Canada, just next to the ocean. Yeah, I wanted to get this error. I can't find it. Yeah, it's very bizarre that I can't find this by searching for it online. Okay, well, whatever. Could I? Oh, man. Yeah. Sample error message. Similarly, hey, German, how are you doing? You may get an error message about not having a parameterless constructor. Oh my God, I cannot type. And maybe having to use, okay, I don't know what's going on. In both cases, we try, C# is trying to deserialize something into a class that can't be created. There are a few solutions here. Write a converter so that your specific data can be deserialized in a custom way. Add JSON constructor to your class to choose which particular constructor should be used. I guess we copy this here. or change your setup altogether so that you're only serializing data. Sometimes when this happens, it's because I had some class with easy to hydrate data, e.g. a name, picture a person class with a name and an age. I'll just say string name and int age. But then I also had something that was harder, that wasn't, but I also had a reference to some existing thing. Contrived example, but imagine person had a DB connection object that couldn't be pulled from JSON. In this case, I think a JSON converter could potentially work. Like we have some JSON converters here, but it's just for the sake of us manipulating the data itself. Didn't we make an item converter? Why did we do this? Why did we do this? Yeah. Yeah, for example, in Skeleseller, we save items as, what do we even save them as? An ID and a quantity. ID and quantity. But then when we make them in the game, they need to become game objects. So we call item dot create ID quantity from an item converter. Okay, add a JSON constructor to your class to choose which particular constructor should be used. Or add a parameterless constructor so that JSON object can be created. Wonder how often this is actually a solution for people. Hey, Meridio. Change the setup altogether since you're only serializing data. Sometimes when this happens, it's because I had some class with easy to hydrate data. Picture a person class with name, string name, and int age. This serializes very easily. Then I also had to reference some existing thing. Contrived example, imagine person also has a DB connection that shouldn't be pulled from JSON. In this case, this is basically what converters do though. Maybe that's what I'm realizing here, is that I just should have used a converter for this. I wonder what it would even look like. Yeah, I wonder what it would even look like. All right, sorry. This is mostly, I get kind of caught up sometimes. We have a problem that I already have a solution for. So now at this point, I'm trying to come up with what's the best solution, which is really just an academic exercise. The reason I like doing these sometimes anyway is because in the future, when I encounter this, I would know what the best way of solving this is. So I'm not just solving this problem, I'm solving all future classes of this problem too. But I don't really need to do that right now. So the question is, how much do we invest in future Atom right now? And I'm going to spend a little bit of time at least, but current Atom does not want to do this. Well, current Atom wants to do it from an academic perspective, but Skeleseller Atom doesn't want to do this. So yeah, where do we use item converter? We specify it in our converters here. So I would need some like new generated ability converter. But then what would this look like? It has reading and writing. And then when it comes to making the ability, we need to know which specific type we're going to create. So we'd make something like farm crop value. Let me think about this. Yeah, I think we'd do something like that. In this case, I still think a converter is probably best, but you could you could have save and load functions with a proxy object like person data, which just has the name and age properties. Yeah. All right, let's just move on. So what do we do here? Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Goodbye. Delete. Yeah, now the rest of this looks good. No one delete this too. I didn't mean for that to be there. So everything should be working. I think I tested this out already, but I think the easiest way to test this is to go change when you get these trade-off choices. Whoops. Which happens from game constants. Trade-off, twist. Here it is. Yeah, so let's just recreate this thing and set it to 0, 1, and 2, or 0, 2, and 4. So now you'll be presented with one of these immediately. And I want to go analyze the save file and make sure everything is good. I don't have this open anymore, do I? Well, that's why we do this. All right, so right now we have nothing saved. So I'm going to click this button. We're going to click buy, and we're going to take a screenshot of this. And whatever these numbers are should be exactly the same when I reload. So here's what we should be able to find. Here, yeah, here. These numbers should just match exactly. So -10, 95%. And then what's over here? +1 and 1.2. Great. So those all look good. And if I were to load, it should be exactly the same as what we just saw there. 10, 95, 1, and 120. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so now we click one of these, doesn't matter what. And now I buy another couple of these. Now another one shows up. Now this one, this is the parameter here, and this is the parameter, but these aren't parameterized at all. So if I save this, then we'll only see parameters for the stuff on the side. Where'd it go? All right, every 25 seconds get 10. Yeah, 10. Divided by 10, I mean. And then -1. Yeah, so those look good too. And then let's do it one more time. And this is the final twist and should give us some other parameterized things. So 4, -1, 8, and 160. 4, -1, 8, 160. 4, -1, 8, 160. Yeah, perfect. Okay. So everything's working well there. If we load the game, we see those exact same things, right? 4, -1, 8, 160. Yep. Okay. Yeah, cool. So that's problem 1 solved. Problem 2 is that we don't save the history. And then, yeah, we don't populate the perks panel. That's going to be a little bit difficult, I think. I think it's because we don't save this information anywhere. Yeah. Okay, so now we populate twists correctly. I don't think we need to... Well, I guess we do kind of need to test this. So just don't check in game constants. The rest of the stuff looks fine. Persist twist choices. We don't persist the history yet, but now when you have deferred twist choices, they'll be repopulated on load. All right, next up, after picking a twist, we don't show it in your twist history because we don't store that history in the save file. You probably need to save it. Yeah, it sounds straightforward. How straightforward is it? It's just a list of these things. So, I mean, it should be pretty straightforward. Yeah. So let's go find the save data for this. What's it even called? I don't know what I called it. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right, public class twist history save data. And this is literally just going to be a list of these. I mean, it should be pretty simple. Trade off perk choice. Do we have this somewhere? We don't. Well, we have perks somewhere. Yeah, this. So this will go here. This will be called twist chosen. And then we just need to pull that in. And now we have a public this save data new. Easy. And then we have a load from save data. So that we need to make this not be read-only anymore. And we need a public void load from save data. Twist history, save data, save data. Okay, and then it calls update label after that. What's that do? Oh, nice. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, so we now just need to call load on this, and we need to save this stuff correctly too. What keeps track of a twist history? A perk panel tab does. Is there a save function here? Well, there's load from save data. Oh no, this is like load it. Wait, what? That's strange. We don't pass in the save data. Well, now we do. So I want to get the twist history. Hey, Suyash. Did you have to go to the airport or something? Or has that happened yet? Twist. It's just called twist. Sure. Load from save data, twist history, save data. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So now town save data needs that. In a new city, sitting in a cafe. Oh, nice. What caused you to travel? You don't mind my asking? So is challenge mode. So where does this exist? In the perks panel tab? I guess we should just get the save data from this. Yeah, there is no save data right now. Yeah, fine. Possible null reference. Oh, we know it's not going to be null here. Wait, no, we don't know that. We're only going to do this if you actually had this in there. If save data dot twist history. Alternatively, you know what? Let's just take this. Let's put this here. Let's have this be like that. And that way what we can do is we can say, actually, we don't need to do anything special. Well, I guess we kind of do. If it's null, then just return. All right, so now we get the save data from here. Public twist history, save data, twist, save data. Then in the town, we go load that. It's already being done, so I guess we don't have anything to do. My college hosted a conference, and I got invited to speak on some stuff, being a 2024 grad. Oh, cool. That sounds like a nice trip. Yeah. I was thinking about this today, that I think when it comes to speaking engagements, first of all, I think usually they involve travel, which, like I said yesterday, I don't tend to like. But they also sometimes involve money or some sort of like networking. Like usually there's something in it for the speaker and then something in it for the company or the entity that they're speaking for. And I was thinking about it and I thought there's kind of another thing that could be in it, which is just sort of like legacy or reputation, I guess, which is sort of related to networking and probably plays into money at some point. And I wondered if I should do speaking engagements for that reason. But like I said, I don't like to travel. So it's rarely is there going to be a speaking engagement where you're like, oh yeah, I'll just be there virtually. Because at that point, it could just be a video. Hey, Chef Alden. We'll tell them I left the startup I joined months ago. But isn't that probably something that's still worthwhile to talk about? Sponsor the travel, and for me, more than money, it was reputation plays part. Yeah. Like, I think it's okay to say, yeah, I got a job out of school, then I quit that job. Here's why I quit. You know, the first thing that falls into your lap is not necessarily the best thing, something like that. I don't know. uh, so is this working? This might be working. Let's try it because that wasn't too hard to do. I think we're going to come across a harder problem in just a sec, which is how do we repopulate the perks UI? All right, so I buy a perk. We click this one. This is town perk cost minus 10, multiply income by 95%. Now we save and we load, and it broke. Broke immediately. Each parameter must bind to an object. Challenge mode, trade-off perk choice? Doesn't? What? Let's go look at this save file. Yeah, here we go. Twist history. This looks bad. This looks really bad. Why? Wait. Why are we even doing this? Twists chosen are getting saved directly. That means that they're more than just what I think they are? No, it's a list of trade-off choices. I think what we need to do is just select each individual thing. No, wait, we can't do that. Oh my God. Okay, somewhere I do this. I don't know where, and I need to figure out where. In India, people are really dependent just on their college to get placements. I was invited to show them you guys can get off-campus placements if you work on your skills. I think it's good. I think it's probably really helpful information for a lot of these people too. There's some like category of people out there that I think they just need to be shown what's possible. And then they're like, oh, okay, I guess I can do it too then. And maybe we're all like that to some extent, but just in different realms of our lives. As a just a simple example, something I guess it's something like what you're talking about, but even if I were just like, hey, you know, you could go for a walk for 20 minutes every day and get some basic exercise in. Some people might just be like, oh, I never really thought about that. Like I know that I can walk and I know that I have a place I can walk, but I just never thought about doing it every day or something. Stuff like that, it always makes me think we are social creatures. We do better as a group than we do individually. Yeah, a new perspective. I agree. Okay, so why is this happening? We're saving a list and then we're saving save data in that? I don't even know how that's possible. It's yeah, I don't even know how that's possible. What am I missing here? It's like this is serializing with the right data and then also some extra garbage. Maybe we have that extra garbage here in the list. That can't be the case, right? Twist chosen. This is when we load. We add the trade-off choice. And that's it. Yeah. I don't I don't get this. I don't get why this is here. It means that we're persisting a twist history, I think. Yeah, that has to be that has to be it. So how is that possible? I mean, I typed something wrong somewhere because I don't think I mindfully did this. UI perks panel save data. That could be it. We don't save a perks panel tab. We don't do anything unusual there. That looks fine. This looks fine. And that looks fine. So then yeah, it has to be this somehow. But how? Oh, I'm so confused. Yeah, I don't see what's wrong. Go out and walk, but I'm a gamer. Has someone made a walking simulator yet? Like a literal walking simulator, not World of Warcraft? Man, I I find this stuff so difficult. Oh, this is gonna break everything, won't it? Yeah. I just wiped out a file and then created it again. I didn't mean to do that. Let's wipe it out and this time not recreate it. Okay, so let's get back to the point where we have this showing and then we save and then we load this. Twist history. Okay, I'm baffled. I'm just absolutely baffled here. I don't get it. I just don't get it. This should be a list of trade-off choices. We're somehow oh, maybe we're saving more than we should be. I don't mark these as JSON include though. They're public, so that's why they get saved. Oh, okay. Well, then we need to ignore that, I guess. Now it's going to have the right data. That is so strange. Well, I guess it doesn't really do anything for us because we need to first be in a state where we didn't do this. All right, let's try again. This is the serializing too much bit I was talking about yesterday. All right, CM save. What do we have? Yep. Okay, that fixed that. I was wondering how that was getting to be there. But now we have it in save data. That isn't right. Yeah, that isn't right. Is that why loading this is failing? Oh. We don't have a load from save data here. It's this that shouldn't be here. Oh my god. Wait a second, then does that mean that this is broken too? How did any of this work? I just don't get it. Oh man. Yeah, all right. I've messed something up. God, this is so difficult. So here we're saving off abilities directly. So then we need a load. I don't have a load. Where is that function supposed to be? It doesn't exist? Oh, town. Oh, I think I understand what happened here. Okay, I think I've botched everything. Let's go back to square one. In here, I'm just going to get save data. So these things should be JSON ignored. And then we need something to load these. The thing that loads these is town perk choice tracker. Yes, because we check if it's trade-off perk choice save data. And then we know how to reconstruct it from there. So this is a load from save data or like create from save data, which I don't know why I never thought of. Public static trade-off perk choice create from save data. Trade off, perk choice, save data, and what we need the town as well. Okay, hadn't thought of that. Wait a second, and doesn't this mean that this would have been broken? Tool tips. Yeah, it does mean that it would have been broken. Okay. What am I doing? We're doing whatever we did here. This is just get the abilities. Yeah. Positive ability. And then the negative ability. And delete that stuff. Generated ability does not contain a definition for create. What? Town, positive, negative. Does not contain a definition for create. What? I don't know what that even means. Oh, it's stale? Oh, it's stale. All right, so now in here, what we can do is this. Perk choice is add trade off perk choice dot create. Yeah, that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? Oh, man. And then what we need to do the same thing over here somewhere. Yeah, we go through each save data and we select that, which requires that we have the town, which we don't have. How would this have ever worked then? Because I guess this thing can't be responsible for loading this then, huh? The parent could be though. Alternatively, we could just pass in the town. Yeah, that works. This is crazy. This is just crazy. I feel like I must be doing something wrong. There's just no way. Yeah, there's no way. This is save data. And now what's the problem here? This is save data. What's going on? Oh my God. I just can't. Yeah, something's majorly wrong right now. Like in my brain. I'm I'm not able to follow the context of what I'm doing here. And I'm causing this to be much harder than it should be. So the issue is that we're able to reconstruct a trade-off perk choice because all it is these abilities, but it's not actually. There's also a town. I don't know where that's getting saved. Because yeah, this shouldn't ever work. Oh, we're not doing that anymore though. Wait a second, so then this is wrong too. So this is save data containing trade-off perk choice save data, and I'm just using the wrong thing. Yeah, it is. Oh man. I don't know how any of the code I had worked. Yeah. So this is like twist save data, twist save data. How did this other thing not break? Oh my God. I'm so frustrated. We are saving just abilities directly. I guess we have to do that at some point. Okay, yeah, but we don't save the choice itself. So there's somewhere, no, there's nowhere else I do this. I'm always saving this data. Okay, I just had the wrong type here. That's what confused me. All right, well, I think I've unwound through that stack, so now I just need to fix this stuff. This is save data. We now have the right save data type. Yep, that all looks fine. Then this needs to return the correct type. Save data. So that's a read-only list of perk choice save data. So this, we need to select t.save data. Now what's the problem here? Can I implicitly convert from challenge mode perk choice save data to trade-off perk choice save data? What? I guess we could just cast it. Right. Yeah. There's got to be a better way to do this. And then here we just load this with the town, which I don't even know if we have. We must. Sounds like a type mismatch, not something to just cast to. So the weird thing here is that all of these inherit, all the different types of perk choices inherit from a base one, and the base one defines that there should be a save data function. But they need to all use their own derived types. So in this case, we know that this one's going to use the correct derived type. And that's why this will always work. Yeah. Alternatively, what we could do is we could just change this to be challenge mode perk choice save data, but it's not. It's specifically trade-off. So I think just the cast here is okay. But hey, Codex. Hey, Bogdan. I was a programmer for a short time because I was not good enough, but I have proper arguments to be good. Searching for good vibes. What does this part mean? I have proper arguments to be good. Yeah, welcome in. Hey, Shane. I think I think we're right. I think we're at an inflection point for coding. I think non-coders can make things now using AI. And I don't think they're going to be like the next Facebook or the next Instagram, but I do think they're going to be small tools that people use or websites that people want to host. And I think it's going to change how people approach a lot of this stuff. Like right now, if you want to make a personal website, you probably use one of those like a Wix style thing where it's a website builder and you can just drag and drop elements and stuff. And maybe people will still use this, but I imagine if you could just pay like 50 cents and have AI make you a site and then make any changes to your site, if it's just going to be a simple site, it's like, okay, well, then there you go. Now you've paid way less money for that. So you don't necessarily need to know how to code to still make stuff now, but I think you need to know how to code to make big things. Still seems weird. Was the save data saved as a derived type and not the true type? So there were two problems here. Problem number one was I was trying to save like trade off perk choice and not trade off perk choice save data. And then problem number two is what I thought you were commenting on, which is I needed to cast a derived type, or yeah, a derived type, or I guess it's like I specified a derived type rather than a base type for something. I become superstitious and sent 3,000, 7,000 mails to press, and I have it all. I think there's a language barrier here. Because I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, I don't understand this at all. But I also see your account is 3 days old on Twitch, and that just immediately puts me into suspicion. So, yeah, I don't know what you're saying. And if you're a human, welcome to the stream. And if you're an AI, you're going to be banned pretty quickly. Okay, after picking a twist, put this in your history. Okay, so let's try this out again. Can't get any context out of this conversation. Like I said, it's possible it's just a language barrier thing. And in that case, I'm happy to sort of work with the person and try to understand what they're trying to say. All right, so we pick this -10, -1. Let's save. Let's load. Hey, it worked. Okay, well, whatever. We did it. God, that was more difficult than it had to be. All right, so check this in. Check this in. Menus look slick. Thank you. Yeah. Wiki Joe did all that stuff. Twist history, save data. Yeah, so persist the twist history. That's fun to say. Yeah, looks pretty reasonable. This also looks pretty reasonable. Okay. Persist history, twist history. So after picking a twist, it will now show in the history. After picking a twist, saving and loading, it will now show in the history. Well, the twist will now show in the history. Did I mess this up? Oh, that looks good. Okay. Problem with saving entire trackers or the perk choices themselves needed extra data to be valid. We can make a JSON converter that omits the town or constructor. So this is bad. This is a way of doing things, so whatever. I'm just going to say that this is done now. See if we're saving too much data. Yeah, this is a cleanup thing for later. Modify this using enumeration. Okay, so here's some like minor cleanup stuff. JSON stuff. But I think this is the last big problem. We don't populate the perks panel when you load from a save file. You still have the perks, but they don't show up there since we would need to save all prior choices you made. Okay, let's go figure this out. Perks panel tab. How do we add something here? We don't. All perks tree. Here it is. This is where we add something. Here it is. Chose perk. Okay, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. Yeah, this is pretty straightforward. So there are a couple different things we could do here. We could save this stuff. Let me think about this. So all perks tree listens for when you chose a perk and then adds a skill button. So option 1 would just be save the data for all of the skill buttons and then reload that information. Option 2 would be to save all of the perk choices you made and then replay those. I think I'm leaning toward option 1. Told the press about my parents' work, factory and construction, how much I suffered when I was a child because of shy, etc. No car, no bath. All right. I'm gonna just time you out for a bit. And if you want to come back in an hour, come back in an hour. But none of these messages make sense. And since your account is 3 days old and since you never answered my question, and the way I look at it, there's this XKCD about spammers and how like the punchline is something like, if spam can't be distinguished from human messages, then mission accomplished. Well, if my little adage here is, if every message you type adds to the confusion of chat, it may as well be a bot typing things. In which case there's just no reason to have this person in chat. You can override type of property to a specific type in derived classes if they're covariant. ABC. Override the type of a property to specific. Oh, really? I didn't realize that. So in trade-off perk choice, we could say that this is returning a trade-off perk choice? What? Really? Wow. Okay, so then I can get rid of the cast that I did in that parent thing, right? Perk panel or something like that. Where did I do that? I didn't know you could do that. And I don't even remember where I wrote this thing that I now need to delete. I guess we could search for it like this. Yeah, here, we just delete that. Wow, nice. Only if they return, you cannot have them passed in. Yeah. Wow. Hey, Chris Vac. That guy ain't a bot. I don't know who is. Yeah, I was going to say that the messages now definitely don't make sense. But I also don't really get the angle of like, why make an account on Twitch that's just going to say a bunch of random garbage? Like at some point, maybe it would have been, hey, can someone look over my job posting and it links to some phishing site? Like that I could see happening. But why have all this like super circuitous intro message? Why not just be like, hey, I have a question. Can you look over my portfolio? And you click it and it asks you to like sign in or something and then steals your credentials. I don't know. Okay, so this is pretty interesting, and I should probably make this this change elsewhere. Because yeah, we have a public override, challenge mode, perk choice, save data, all this stuff. Yeah, so we can change all of these now. Problem is we need to look at where all of them are used to make sure we don't have any weird stuff going on after that. No, that's fine. Hey, Ryan. I know my next project. Share some of that stolen money with me. New, yeah. This looks a lot better. I didn't know that was a thing. And then I got to fix this one because I didn't use the right. Yeah, there we go. And then we got to look through all of them and make sure something's a little bit different. Or, sorry, that was in imprecise language because I was thinking about something else at the time. I got to make sure that I did not do any casting for any of these. Nope, that one's fine. Okay, let's look through this one. That one's fine. They're probably all fine. I don't think we did anything special here. Yep, that's fine. Town perk choices. What do we do here? Is also fine. How? This one should find another reference though, right? Yeah, it does. Okay, looks good. Wait. One of these things shouldn't be checked in. Yeah, that. Okay, so improve typing of getting save data. Just gonna copy paste everything you said. Give you credit for this. There. The long con. In a few years after you gained your trust and you allow them to post links link to a phishing site. Man, I always like to think, well, I don't like to, I guess, but I think about what if this is a real person and they're just super confused. They're like, man, is my English that bad and I can't get this idea across? But truly, at that point, what I would say is, I think Google Translate is good enough for pretty much any language you'd be speaking if you were watching this Twitch stream, that you could just type in your native language into Google Translate and you'll be understandable. You know, NPM got infected the day before yesterday, I guess, or something similar. That was due to email phishing. There were at least 2 creators, I think, but one of them had a lot of popular packages with like a combined 2 billion downloads per week or something like that, or 2 billion. I don't know. Anyway, some crazy amount of downloads, and yeah, they just fell prey to a phishing email and gave up their credentials, and then some cryptocurrency stealing JavaScript was injected into these packages. Amazon, I must ask how you got dark Google Docs. Drat, I have a command that's dark something. Dark reader. I think I used to have one specifically for dark Google Docs. But yeah, it's called dark reader. So just download that, click this button, click the checkbox, and you'll go from light mode to dark mode. Now, keep in mind that for images, all this is doing is inverting them. So if you ever have like this, it'll look ugly and it'll be kind of hard to tell sometimes what you even took an image of. So in that case, just switch back to light mode and like look at the image and then switch back to dark mode. Maybe there's a way of changing it for images that it doesn't. In fact, actually, I wonder if there's a way to do that. I never looked into it. Hang on a second. Let me take a look off screen. All settings. I don't see it for images specifically. I guess it wouldn't be possible in Google Docs anyway, because they're not image DOM elements. This is all just a canvas, and then Google Docs renders it. Switch the dynamic plus stuff to something else, maybe? Yeah, maybe. It's probably not worth it. But like I said, this isn't really a DOM element, so it probably can't do anything special with just this and not do it with all the rest of the stuff. In fact, actually, how does that look on a site that has regular images? Like if we go to Wikipedia and just type cats, these aren't in negative color, right? No, they're not. Yeah, that's why that's happening then. It's because it's Google, oh my God, Google Docs specifically. My brain is messed up today. I don't know what's going on. Like I got sleep. I was feeling excited to work on this stuff. We're making slow progress. I'm not able to talk. I'm not able to type. Something is wrong. And yeah, maybe I didn't get enough sleep. It's because I have dark reader, but mine is like complete black. It's probably a theme you can change that. Unexpectedly show up in PDFs. They look spooky. Yeah, it's turning off the invert on image tags. Yeah. That's what I would assume too. And it's just there are no image tags in a Google Doc. All right, so here I wrote it down this way. Save the data for all the skill buttons and then reload that information. Let's take a look. It's under perks tree, which is under base perks tree, which has ability data. That's a dictionary though. We need to know the order that we added these things in. And we need to know their skill buttons. So we need to save this stuff, which is an ability ID and a level, which is based on the abilities component. So we're really just saving a list of ability IDs. Yeah. But we can't just get the list of ability. Okay, I see. Okay. What do we want to do for that then? Oh, I'm working from a clean slate. And actually, I could just delete this too. So now it's a totally clean slate. We could just save this somewhere. All perks tree. So what I think we're going to want is something like all perks tab save data, or like chosen maybe Perks history. I don't know. Let's call it perks history. And I'll just write, this is for populating all perks tree. And we need to get the right thing for that. What? Scene scripts dot all perks tree? Yeah, there. All right. So all we need is a list of ability IDs. And we should just be good. Chosen abilities, or like ability IDs. Yeah, there. That's good. All right, let's just try to work through this thing. Yeah. So let's get a public perks history save data, save data. We're going to go through each skill button that we have. How do we do that? Is there a way to get all skill buttons? It might be. I don't see it. Is there a for each anywhere? Yes, there is right here. But what are we saving here? Just a container. Doesn't know that it's a container of base skill buttons, but it has to be, right? Add skill button. This is protected. Why are they all purchased? Because tree. Okay. Yeah, sure, fine. Ability ID to button. Where's that? Play this inherits from one more thing? Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, well then that explains it. It's right there. I thought that was the end of the inheritance hierarchy. All right, well there we have it. So just ability ID to button. So if we want to get all of the buttons that we have, actually all the abilities, we could just, oh, but this won't do it in order. We need the order to matter. Okay, so then the only way we could do this, well, not the only way, but the way we probably should do this is just get the container and get all of the buttons in order from here. But there's no type information if we do that. Alternatively, inside all perks tree, every time we add or rearrange a button, we could just keep track of the ability ID. Move the latest perk to the beginning of the list. Skill button.getParent. Yeah, I think I'll fetch it from the container. Okay, that's fine. So this needs to be protected. Skill button container get private set equals null. We rename this. Remove the underscores. I already did. Now we go fetch this thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this thing dot get children dot of type skill button base dot select button dot ability ID. Nice. That's it. All right. That's probably fine. All right. Now what's the problem here? Because this should have been, this is not how this works. Yeah, my bad. This is ability IDs equals there. All right, there's our function. So go through every button that we have and get its ability ID. Looks good. Now we need a way to load this thing. So public void load from save data, perk history, save data, save data. So we go through each ability ID and we add in a button. This is in reverse order though. Don't we need to do this in reverse order? We might have to. I'll figure out the reverse order thing later. I'll write that down because all we need to do is call reverse. Make sure the order of perk history is maintained. I may need to call reverse. I think we have to, because how's this working? Let's say we have ability A, then B, then C. So we're going to save it as a list of A, B, and then C. And then when we add them to the tree, the latest one is going to be added to the front. I don't know. Yeah, it's too hard to figure out. Let's just try it. If it's backwards, it's backwards. And we just call a single function and fix it. All right, so what is this? Chose perk. What is this? Update label, otherwise add skill button and remove the click handlers. New perk ability data. Okay, so let's make a public void add skill button. Actually, it's got to return the skill button. What is this thing? Skill button base. And we just pass in an ability ID. And call these things. Skill button base, skill button, return that, delete this, call this here. Cool. Now we call that. Is this it's in the base. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. So now we just need to save perk history save data somewhere. Should probably save this all in some challenge mode thing. Is challenge mode. Where do you come from? All perks tree. What stores an all perks tree? Well, if it isn't you, the thing I'm looking for. So the save data that we get needs to contain both things. Okay, so we should combine these. This should go here. This should go here. And then this should be renamed eventually. Rename this to perk and twist history or something like that. All right, so now this is bad. Maybe this is perks panel save data. Panels save data. That's probably better. All right. Well, it's going to be a little bit annoying to do. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit annoying to do. All right. Well, whatever. We'll figure it out. So there's a save data. Load from save data is just going to take in the ability IDs, I guess. This is not the pattern that I use for this stuff. Usually, like we would put these in their own save. Yeah, this is stupid. All right, let's let's back up. This is just grunt work at this point. It's not going to be hard to do. It's just going to be annoying. Hey, Min Bad Blue. Thank you for the raid. Let me check out your stream. Oh, you're still live. Nope, not anymore. Hacking on Effects AI SDK. Effect AI SDK. Free and open source library for training next-gen transparent AI models. Huh. Yeah, I haven't heard of this. Interesting. What's good? I followed your stream for a very long time. Well, welcome in. Yeah. Welcome as a raider, I guess. I was gonna say you've been here before. And yeah, you have been here since like 2020. Yeah, how'd your work go today? Hey, Stilling. I got a question I'd like to hear yours and chat's thoughts on, if you don't mind. I think I need to DM you on Discord and you can pull it up on stream. Putting it in chat will be messy. No worries if not. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Part of the core team which works on Effect, an open source library for building production grade systems in TS. Yeah, I saw that in your about blurb. I didn't read that out loud, I guess. Yeah, I haven't checked it out. Although I'm also not in the like web related world anymore. At least I haven't been for a little while. But how'd the stream go? Was it good? And welcome in everybody. I have been working on a game called Skeleseller, and it is available right now. Is it? Uh-oh. Wait, hang on a second. Something's wrong here. Why do we have 6 customers? Now 7? Oh, because time has been passing. 25 minutes. That means another customer just came in? Yeah. So, wait, let me think about this. 5 more customers, starting with 3. We should have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Whew. I was like, that's not good. That's got to be a bug. But I forgot I just had this running for a very long time. Got a bunch of stuff done. Followed your stream since you were working on that web-based robot game. Oh yeah, Botland. Yeah. That was back in the day for sure. By the way, Stilling, let me know when you've DM'd me and I can bring it up. Anyway, I was talking about what Skeleseller is. So it's a laid-back game where you send adventurers into battle and sell the items that they earn and grow your town. And we've been working on lately has been the post-game content for it. So this thing called challenge mode. This particular widget here looks a lot like Slay the Spire. It's an ascension level, and it lets you pick additional difficulty constraints as you go up. And the way you offset this difficulty is with your meta perks that you'll unlock. So that's the stuff we've been working on, and more specifically, we've been working on saving it. Just did, okay. And I can show this on stream, right? Because I have not read the whole thing to make sure that it's safe, but I assume it is. Yes, you can. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, so it unfortunately did not paste with the formatting. Let me just take a screenshot of this. Okay. So company A runs client's website, has contact forms sent using the hosting company's SMTP, never verified whether SPF and DKIM passes. Company B had DNS plus email, DMARC set to P equals reject. SPF only includes MX and company B's servers. Email servers do not verify SPF, DKIM, DMARC of incoming messages. Company C migrated client email to Microsoft 365. Only added SPF to client SPF record, never moved anything, didn't adjust DMARC. Client received 1 to 10 messages per week from their website contact forms, then nothing for the past 3 months and didn't react till now. I get we shouldn't blame the client, but 3 months? I still don't think this is worth blaming the client for. They probably have a lot of different focus points and they're probably not paying attention to this sort of thing. Or just thought, oh, hey, it's a month of it's quiet or something. I don't know. Yeah, who knows? Emails sent from the client's website never passed. When the client moved from an email system which didn't check this to one which does, messages sent via the contact forms on their website stopped going through, wasn't discovered for 3 months. Who's to blame? Okay, who's to blame for this? Who's this person a client of? Because the way I look at this is, if we were to simplify this, like presumably the client is not technical based on what you've said here, or they'd set this stuff up themselves. So whoever set up their email solution is probably responsible. And they're technically a client of all 3 companies. But like who made the form? Because okay, let's try to simplify this. Let's say I'm involved and I am an independent worker. I run a company. Let's say I run a company for web services, and now I get a client and they're like, Adam, make us a site that has a contact form. And I'm like, okay, you need AWS for hosting, whatever, blah, 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 for sending emails, and I'll get that put together for you. So now client is technically now a client of AWS, blah, 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 and me. And I'd say I'm responsible for this problem because I should have put something in place to stop this from happening, I guess, or like made sure this is fine. Unless a client changed their email configuration on their own. Did they? I guess this company changed things. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's tough. Heading out to grab food. Cheers. Have a good stream. Yeah, thank you for the raid. I hope you have a good day and enjoy your food. Sounds like it was a productive day for you so far. Because like the reason I say it would be me is because, like I said, I'm assuming the client is not technical and they just sort of expected me to like set this stuff up and have it work for them. But I get that someone else changing a configuration might have made that problematic. So I guess it depends on the timeline of work. Like I set them up and then afterward something breaks. In which case it sounds like it's company C in that case. Company A just decided to send emails through client's domain without checking. Company B doesn't verify. Company C didn't check. I think it's why they didn't react for that long, knowing changes were made to their email system. Yeah, I don't think this really factors into anything here. Like they could have taken a year to find out and it still wouldn't change probably too much. It still is a configuration problem that they didn't incur themselves. And it just took them a while to realize. I guess what's similar is like, let's say you had a Netflix subscription that went on for 4 months without you realizing. Like, wouldn't that be pretty much the same thing? Isn't it just like, well, you just don't check your credit card bill that closely or something, or you forgot or something like that. Like that's why I don't think this really factors in too much. It's like if you canceled your subscription and Netflix charged you for 4 months, I'd be like, that's Netflix's problem, right? And just because you didn't notice it doesn't mean that it's still not their fault. But yeah, anyway, that's my like quick chiming in on this, which probably doesn't help at all. All right, so what I decided I wanted to do here is save some different things. We want to save perks panel save data, which is a twist history save data, and then an all perks history save data. Good, and then go get that. So this is here, all perks history save data. Okay, we're almost there. There we go. So this looks good. Yes, and he really enjoyed his free employment. Yeah, Stilling, I guess the subtext here is that this client is upset and they want answers, and it's like, well, look, here's the situation, but they don't understand the situation. That's my guess. I'd probably just say something like, look, due to a storm of bad decisions made by 3 separate companies, you're now in this situation, and here's what we need to do to fix it. That's probably what this comes down to. And then the other thing is the client, I mean, I know you've talked about this a few times, like, hey, they should have noticed sooner. There could be some like alarm or monitor in place, but I guess the monitor would be if a rate drops too low. So like emails per week is less than 2 for 2 weeks in a row. It's like, huh, there's probably an issue with this system. Oh, it's not a guarantee. Product of ours doesn't have IR ports working. Product was shipped 5 years ago. Huh. Interesting. Yeah. Company A got lucky, company B didn't verify, and company C is picking up the trash. Yeah. Anyway, fun stuff of any client work, right? Okay, this needs to change. This turns into new, and then twist history, save data equals that. And then all perks history equals all perks dot save data. All right, we're getting there. We are very slowly getting there. Where's the all perks stuff? That must have already been here, right? No, twist history. Oh, come on. Where did I put this? I don't know. I don't know where I put it. Yeah, I can't find it. Here it is. Perks panel save data. Why is this not working? Oh, because that's wrong. Because this is wrong. Because this now needs to be... Okay, I see. I see what I did wrong. Now, what's this problem? Cannot convert to this. That's fine. We can fix that. Cool. We're doing it. Now, this is save data dot twist history. And then all perks dot load all perks history. And this doesn't have an all perks history save data. And now it does. Okay, cool. All right. Who knows if that'll work? Let's go try it. And as mentioned, I'm pretty sure it's going to reverse the perk order, which we could reverse back. So it should be very easy. But we just need to click any two things. So first one is expanded warehouse. Remember that. And then clear rocks. Actually, don't remember anything because we'll just take a picture. There. Memory purged. Okay, so now when I save and load, I think it's going to reverse these. Is that the same as the picture? It is. So it didn't reverse them. So everything's just working. So now what happens if we level up one of these? Let's see. We need to be offered level 2 of something. So I guess just keep clicking things until we're offered level 2. There it is, level 2. Okay, so what does this look like right now? So clear rocks is going to move to the front of the list. Whoops. There, so now it moves to the front of the list. So now it is, in just terms of max levels, it's 3, 4, 7. So if I save and load, it should still be 3, 4, 7, yeah. Wow. Okay. Oh, this has been a lot of work. But this looks pretty straightforward. I need to put a comment there though. And why is this yellow? Possible null reference. Oh yeah, we're going to say that that's just not null. Wait, no, are we? Perks panel save data could be null. So load from save data in this case is like that. And if save data is not null, then load these things. Okay, and the thing I need to comment on is this. Why we save this the way that we do. We have to iterate over the buttons to fetch their abilities. So the order that you unlocked them in is maintained. One big commit versus a lot of small commits. Are you asking about this? Because in general, I'd say prefer small commits. They're easier to review, to reason about, to move around if you have to undo, to revert. In my mind, this is a relatively small commit. Like we needed to add some save data, so those are those classes. We needed to get the save data. So this is all pretty targeted at what we're doing here. And so far, this is looking good. Yeah, everything looks good. All right, so save perk history. Yeah. Okay, that did not end up being so hard. So we did this. We did this. We don't need to do this. We did this. Well, that's technically not a task. Okay. Oh, man. All right, so clean up for the JSON stuff. Modify type resolver, maybe use an enumeration rather than a string. Okay, this is probably not worth focusing on at all. But if I go look at the save file, where even is that? If I look at the save file, we have a bunch of types that are strings now. I guess they rarely show up, huh? It's only when you have outstanding choices. So I guess it doesn't really matter at all. But if I do have an outstanding choice, like let's say I click this, I click buy perk. So here's a twist. We have free guild supplies, different adventure limits, and I hit save. So now what's going to show up is, yeah, now we have this word trade-off in here. So is that worth having? I don't think so. I think we should make it an enumeration and make it clear what these are. It's going to be a lot of extra code. It'll do a couple of things though. One, it'll make it clear that these things aren't to be modified willy-nilly. Two, it will technically trim down the size of this file. And three, it'll stop using strings. Was there any issue with saving the moment where a user buys a perk but not selecting one yet? No, I don't think so. Or well, if there was, yes, but I don't think there currently is. So like if I click build, there's the garbage slime and the enchanter's den, and if I click hire, there's the warrior and the spirit caller. Now I save and I load, and those things should still be there. So I click build, garbage slime and enchanter's den, warrior and spirit caller. So these are working fine now. And this is great. This is like what all of the progress has been in the last few days. Now there's still other stuff we need to save. Like we don't save how long you've taken in the game, which is bad. And we don't save, I think, your money goal. Yeah, wait. I don't think we saved this stuff, but I haven't gotten to saving that stuff yet. So that's not like there's a bug that I tried to solve and couldn't. I just haven't gotten around to it. Yeah, so JSON type resolver. So we have all of these string discriminators here. Oh, wait, that's it? They're just 4? Oh. Well, then, yeah, of course we're going to make an enumeration. I thought there were like 12 of these or something. Although we still probably would have made enumerations, but... okay, so this is in the save system. So where does this belong? I guess just up here, right? Private enum. What is this called? What is this called? Set up perk choices. It is challenge mode perk choice save data. Okay, so challenge mode perk choice discriminator. And what are they? Building. No, there are 5. Never mind. There aren't 4. Town building adventure battle trade-off. Town building adventure battle trade-off. Nice. Now, what is this red for? Cannot be explicitly declared as private. What? What are they by default then? Can either have public or internal. If none is specified, internal is the default. Yeah, internal's fine. I don't care. Accessibility required. Okay, fine. Let's type out internal. All right, so now all we do is we go plop these things in. This one's town. This one's building. It should know how to change them all. There. Cannot convert. Yes. So now the issue is that these all need to be made into integers. And then we're fine. So can't we do this in a slightly easier way? Can't we do something here like type? Oh yeah, that's kind of what I want. Hey, cool. That looks a lot better. Yeah, the thing is I have 2 different linters fighting each other, I think. All right, so this looks nice. And then this thing should change. This can just change to type and challenge mode. Okay, this is pretty clean. I like this. And I want to write down the discriminators used for challenge. I guess we need to write C. Challenge mode perk choice save data instances. These should not be changed since they enter save files. what do I want to say? These should not be changed, I guess, haphazardly. Since they enter save files. Cool. Okay, so now if I were to load, it's going to break everything. Yeah, it breaks everything. And the reason why is because now these type discriminators are not the way that they look. So building would be 1. So we could change both of these. And then trade-off would be 4. So we change these. And then any other types, type colon, yes, adventurer. Adventurer is 2. And that's it. Okay, so now if we reload, now everything should be fine because we're using the correct type discriminators. Yep, there we go. And we should see the, ooh, no, we don't. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This is not good. Yeah, this is not good. Hang on a second. I messed something up. Yeah, these are just numbers. Why? It thinks I've got to rebuild these things. Wait, did I forget to load? Oh, I just forgot to load. Oh, okay. That terrified me. Yeah. Everything should be the same way. Yep. Great. Okay, cool. Okay, so let me explain something here. For those who are wondering, what is a discriminator? In this case, it's sort of like how Discord used to have these for names. So you were Adam, but then it had a bunch of just trash at the end of it so that you could just make whatever name you want and there'd be a bunch of different Adams out there. This is the discriminator. It's just a way of saying that this thing is unique from all the other things that are here. And in particular with Jason, what we're doing here is we have this thing, challenge mode, perk choice, save data. We're trying to save this, but there are actually many different types. There's the town, there's adventurers, there's battle perks, there's buildings, and then there's trade-offs. For us to know which one's which from just the data is not necessarily possible. So we have to add in a type parameter here. And that type parameter used to just be a string, like town or adventurer. So what we've done is we just changed it into an enumeration. So that now instead of town or adventurer, it is something like 0 or 1. And that's good enough for us to know what to construct when we deserialize these things. So that's what I was just working on there. And now here's what the save file looks like instead. And it's just a little bit clearer now to the developer of this that you shouldn't just randomly change these strings down here. Like these are now set in stone. If you were to change one of these, what would happen is you'd redefine what a save file means. So let's say we change trade-off to 5 here. Well, now anyone out there in the world is still going to have a save file with that thing set to 4. So when it tries to load, it's going to be like, I don't know what that is. And it's going to break for them. That's why I have to be careful about this stuff. Use an enumeration for discriminators. Yeah. So we're done with that. And then see if we're saving too much data. This one is much harder to figure out because we need to look through every single portion of this, or at least the new stuff. So let's see. This is good. That's all we need. That's good. That's probably, yep, that's good. That's good. That's all good. Looks good. Probably fine, but I need to test that out. So let's go into battle perk choice. I need to get a building that allows me to get wisdom sludge. And then we need the wisdom sludge, and then we save. And then we look at this. So now, oh wait, no, sorry, hang on. We need to click that and then look at it. Yep, looks good. Looks good. Okay, save data for twist history. All perk histories here. Adventure battle perks. Okay, so now we need to pick a battle perk and we need to pick a twist, or else those won't show up. So pick a battle perk. And let's pick a few of them actually. There, that'll be a pretty good spread. And then pick a twist. And now save and look at those. So data 8. This is presumably the adventurer class. Who is that? Mushy? Yeah, I picked a few of those. So we have all their perks, and number of perks chosen is 4. Is that correct? What is this? Yeah, I see. Each one of these can add a stat. Yeah. This is smart. Okay, cool. And then where are twists? I don't see them. Here it is. Okay, yeah, everything's looking nice. I like the perspective from above. Kind of feels like the game is 3D. Yeah, this perspective I think was it essentially came about from hardware limitations of early generation consoles and how sprites and tile maps and everything would work. So when people wanted to make a more sort of immersive game, they had to use 2D to the best of its capabilities. I think Star Fox on the Super Nintendo was actually 3D. Yeah, it looks like it at least. But I think something like Donkey Kong Country was not 3D. I think they rendered 3D models and then turned them into 2D sprites. Where's, yeah, here we go. So it doesn't look like they hand drew this. I think they did use a modeling program. I think I will see if that is what they did. Yeah. And I think that's even what might have been done for Diablo 2. Original. Not for the new one. The new one's 3D. But I think they did that for Diablo 2 as well. So they had a model for like this character and rotated him every direction and then took snapshots of it and then used those in the game. But again, I'm not positive about that. There'd technically be no way for you to know just looking at this because you could accomplish both whether you do it in 2D or 3D. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Oh, I gotta breathe for a second. This has been quite the trip. I don't know what went so wrong yesterday and today, and that I could have like cut through it faster. I think part of it is kind of what I mentioned earlier when we were talking about starting new projects. If you only work on a project once every couple of years, or it takes you 2 years to finish a project, then you're not starting a new project all the time. So you're not really getting practice at it. This saving and loading stuff, I do in bursts, and we spend about like 1 to 3 days each time, and then wait for like 6 months, and then another 1 to 3 days, and another 6 months. And I kind of forget what the best practices are in that time. Hey, Mysterious. Speedy Egbert. What? I don't know what that is. Video game for Windows PCs released in 1998. I've never heard of that. Huh. This looks like the kind of game you would get in a cereal box. Was it? Is cereal mentioned on here? No. I think Chex Quest was, though. Chex Quest? A non-violent first-person shooter. My goodness, look at that cover art. Wow. I don't remember this. I don't think I ever even played this game. But that reminds me of the old Mega Man cover art. It's pretty great. Dead Cells did that for their game? Oh yeah, cool. Huh. Yeah, I think it leads to cool animation styles too. They kind of did this in Futurama, and I don't know how you do it when it comes to what are typically hand-drawn animations. Like if you look up Futurama, it all looks like just kind of classic cartoon style. Yeah, like all these characters look like they're hand-drawn. There's not anything too complex about them. But then every once in a while, they'd have like a 3D scene where a spaceship is going around and they like show a different camera perspective. I'm like, how did they do that? And yeah, I guess it's the same way that video game developers would do it. They have an actual 3D scene and then they composite in their 2D sprites or they billboard them or something. Or maybe even like 3D render them for just that scene. Okay, so breathing time is up. We can no longer breathe. Saving after completing challenge mode run should leave town in the null state. What's going to be responsible for this? Because town save data, JSON save data are null. Save town. I see. We leave it up to this thing to figure out whether it should be in there or not, and not based on whether the game is done. This is quite the pickle. Quite the pickle. Huh. When you finish the run, we save it with a null town, but then every other save that happens thereafter also needs to save with a null town. But it wouldn't know about that because it doesn't even know what you're saving. So that means we need some way of fetching that information. Do we have that somewhere? Isn't there like challenge mode progress or something? Isn't there some like is ongoing? Oh, where did I put that? I don't know. Oh, objective details? Aha. Where are you stored? In the menu. Oh, God. Okay, fine. Maybe saving could know this then. Oh, yeah, it can. Well, would you look at that? All right, so then that's what we want to do, I guess. We want to pass in town or not based on whether you've beaten the game and this thing knows about it. It almost makes me wonder if this thing should just pass in the save data itself. And why do we use the town here? For the sake of showing a notification, right? When you click save, it shows saved game. Yeah. We could just delete that. I don't know if that's necessary. But it's also not really hurting anything. All right, so we've got two cases where we do this right here. Save finish challenge mode. This should just emit a signal instead of what it's doing right now. Show end screen. Where's save? Please tell me it's in here. There should be auto save. Yeah, nice. Okay. This is all gonna work. Yeah, this shouldn't even be that complex. So what we need to do is we need a save game function here. It's gonna do this. Private void save game. Bool is autosave. Yep, like that. And then here we just call save game. And I guess it's considered an autosave. Yeah. This doesn't need to exist. Yeah, and then in here we need to figure out whether we actually take the town or not. So town question mark, town equals. If it's challenge mode, then, well, I guess if it's not challenge mode, or if, where are the details? Ended? Ongoing? What am I doing right now? Oh, it's in menu. Oh, I thought it was here. All right, so is there some like ended, game ended, ongoing? Did game end? There it is. Yeah. So if the game ended, or wait, what do I want to do? If you're not in challenge mode, we want to save the town. Or if you're in challenge mode and the game did not end. Yeah, so that's what we want. And then pass that in. All right, now this is an incredibly confusing Boolean here. Like bool is challenge mode and bool did game end. So we can get the same logic here by saying that you are in challenge mode and the game ended, then set it to null, otherwise the town. Yeah, that's a lot clearer, I think. So the game is over and you're in challenge mode, then we just don't save a town anymore. If you're in challenge mode and the game ended, we don't save the town so that you don't load into an already finished state. Oh, and now I finally asked the most important question to myself, which is, should we even do this? Like, if I run this, I'll show what I just did, but I'm not certain it's a good idea. And it's for one very specific case that players might care about. So here's what happens. Let's say you're playing challenge mode and we got 50 gold, you spend some money and you're like, oh, something just came up in real life, let me save. You quit the game and later you load it. So now you're back here, you got 40 money and things are fine and you progress and you eventually beat the game. And this screen pops up, business succeeded. You can click continue playing. So if you can click this, then a save game doesn't do anything now. Now if I click, actually if I click load game, is it gonna fail? Yeah, it's gonna fail completely. So we need to prevent you from, oh man, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good idea. When it does happen, it will for someone somewhere, it looks kind of bad. Well, that's a bug. But what I was thinking is, like, if you're allowed to continue playing, then why shouldn't you be able to save that continuation and eventually, like, max out that challenge run? And I don't have a reason for why you wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, why not? Who cares? So what if you do that? So yeah, I think we should change the game design, which means I think we should change this feature so that, sure, you can save, but it will now save whether or not the run is completed so that it knows not to auto load it again in the future. This will also fix the bug I just encountered. So yeah, let's change the game design here. Change nulling out the town in challenge mode. It makes sense that if you can continue playing after you win, that you should be able to save and load after winning. Yeah. Why is there even a game end state to begin with? The game end state I still think is important because that's when you get rep. That's when you get rep and your medal. Well, if you got a medal, you'll get a medal. And that's what will signal to people that they should move on. So let's say your goal was just to beat each challenge. If there was no game end state, you wouldn't know that that you're even done. Unless what you're saying is like, why even show a dialogue, I guess? Although I think it's the same answer. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's important. I thought you can still accumulate rep past that point. No. No, the rep is based on the medal, and the medal is based on the completion time, and completion can only happen once. So that means that as soon as the game is completed, you'll have gotten everything you could have gotten. And then if you want to keep playing, you'll accumulate gold and sludge, but you won't get any more rep. So yeah, I think we need to change how this works. So town save data for challenge mode. We probably need some like challenge mode specific thing here. But we're going to need a Boolean for like, did the game end? Yeah, so public bool did challenge mode run end get set. And then in town, when we get the save data, we're going to go save that. UI menu challenge mode did game end. Actually, we could just save this no matter what, right? Unless this is null. This is never null. Yeah, it just exists. So there's no problem with doing this. And it's just a game state check. Is there anything that can be earned past the end dialogue? Thought there was a chat last week to do away with timers and end states. Nothing persistent can be earned. The thing about doing away with timers is timers are now ignorable unless you want to beat the next difficulty or obtain the next difficulty level. So in short, here's what this means. You're going to get a goal. So we have to earn 1,500 gold. Why is that? Hang on one second. Okay, yeah. That's probably fine. Anyway, there's going to be a goal. So obtain 1,500 gold. And then there are these medals here. If you're a casual player, you can just ignore these times. And you can say instead that you want to just play and have fun, and you end up winning in 3 hours. Well, that doesn't get you a medal, so you won't be able to play the next difficulty level, but it will get you reputation. So now when you play again, you might play casually still, but it's probably not going to take you 2 hours. Now it might take you 1 hour and 50 minutes because you got extra perks. And that still won't get you a medal. And at some point, you're either going to be like, okay, I want to try the next difficulty level, or you're going to just naturally have beaten this in the time limit. So you can ignore the time all you want. You can just play the game. But yeah, if you want to progress in difficulty level, you need to change this. Also interesting, I didn't know you could do this. Selecting something is normally so that you can crop. But you could also select and then press R and draw a rectangle. Normally I press R and then draw the rectangle. It's pretty much identical. Just if you accidentally drew the rectangle first, then you can crop, or you could draw it as a red outline. Okay, so Game Saver has some concept of whether there's an ongoing run, and it's either that it's not null and the run hasn't ended. There's a way to type this as just one line. I don't really feel like I need to do that. Yeah, and then we set this to true, and then we don't load that it's true. So we need to do that. I'm using Paint to add rectangles to cropped images. If you're using Paint, then you must be on Windows, right? You should check out ShareX. It's really good. Although I like Shotter even better than ShareX. Shotter, when you take a snapshot, it doesn't automatically save it to your hard drive, which maybe ShareX can be configured that way. But that way you can make whatever changes you want. You're like, okay, let's blur all of this, and let's draw a giant arrow over to here, and then put some like clarifying text over here, and then crop the whole image. And it's like done. I press escape. It's on my clipboard. I can paste it somewhere now. Okay, so we got to load this, which I guess we do down in load. And just put this here. Oh, wait, that doesn't even go there. That goes into... Actually, we don't even need that at all, do we? Want to just set itself again? I think it will. In which case, why do we save it? Oh, we save it for the sake of when you're loading it. We don't want to check what the objective was. Okay, I think it's fine. Let's go test it. With pattern matching, is prop name false? Whoops. That checks for whether something's null too. I mean, like I said, I don't think it's really worth changing because I think it's already clear enough what it's doing. But what I was thinking of doing, if I were to change, here it is. So if I were to change this, what I probably would have done is return this question mark, did challenge mode end, otherwise false. Wait, no, otherwise, yeah. That's how I would do it. And I guess we can just keep that there. All right, let's try it. Okay, so we're gonna click this. So it says business succeeded. We can continue playing, we can save, we can load. It's gonna pop up that business succeeded dialog again. No, it's gonna fail completely. Oh, because I didn't remove the old code. Whoops. Yeah, whoops. This is easy to fix. We just delete this. I'm gonna comment it out for now, but I don't need any of this to exist. In fact, now we don't even need a special function for this, but I guess it's fine to have. Okay, so we win, we click continue, we save, we load. It should just say you won again. Yeah. And now if you go back to the title screen and click challenge mode, it won't detect that you have a saved run. Wrong. Wrong. Okay, why? Did challenge mode end is true. What did I do wrong? Game saver. Oh, whoops. Has ongoing is the opposite of ended. So this did challenge mode run end. It's the opposite of this. Oh, God. It was probably clearer when I had it written out as two things, right? It's not null and it hasn't ended. Yeah, let's just leave it like that. Okay, so now I go to the title screen. I click this. Yep, it just says new challenge run. So actually, there's no way. No, there is a way. You can click new and then you can click load from here and you'll get back to your old save file. That'll probably confuse people. So maybe as soon as you click new run, we should delete it. No, but then what's the point of saving this? Oh God, what have I done? What's the point of... I don't know what I'm doing right now. What's the point of saving a finished run? Yeah, there's a scenario. And finish is the operative word here. Saving, it makes sense. I know why we would want to save, but why a finished run? It's a scenario we just added that doesn't make sense, which is you can click challenge mode from the title screen. Then you can assign a bunch of meta perks. Click start run and then click load game. It'll load from before you made those meta perk changes. See if anyone asks for a way to recall a finished run. I just don't think it makes sense. Like, what scenario would there be for doing that? The only thing I could think of is on continue a finish run is they really want to push the limits of challenge mode, but don't want to leave their computer running. And I don't think it's going to be common. Because you could do this if you just don't save and load. You could just leave the game running. Okay, well, then there's something we could do. Yeah, we could detect this and warn you about it. Like, you're about to load a run, like an already finished run. Alternatively, we could prevent this from happening. Why did I even write this down? Change nulling out the town. It makes sense that if you can continue after playing, you should be able to save and load after winning. I don't think so. I think we just delete this. I think if people ask for it, then they ask for it. But wait for them to ask for it. There are people with dedicated YouTube channels built around breaking game instances. There is a way we could accommodate this for them that's kind of cheating, which is we just tell them how to find their save file, and then this did finish run, you just set this to false. And as soon as you set it to false, it'll think that you have a save file there. And now when you click this, it detects it. You click continue and it just says you won immediately. Hey, Coldfire. But okay, I guess we leave this as is for now. I don't know. I feel like this is wrong. Yeah, I think this is wrong. I just don't think there are going to be that many people who do this, and the people who do this can ask for it, and then I can do something special for them maybe. Because what scenario would a normal person have for doing this? Yeah, I don't think there's anything. Maybe they accidentally click go to title screen and they want to still see what's going on in that run. I don't know. I'm so torn. I'm so torn. I did this, but now we have this scenario. I'm never going to look at this note again. So paste from Markdown. At this point, your meta perk changes will be undone since you loaded an old save file. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's not the end of the world. Would probably realize what happened. We could prevent it or warn you about it though. Run is done and go back to the title screen. Well, I like the idea of letting a player continue to play. And at the very least, the best reason why you might want to do this, even if you don't plan on playing, is to just look at like what happened. Like, oh, look through all your perks. Hey, I got 14 different perks and I had 2 twists. And some people might want to show that stuff off. And it uses the in-game UI as opposed to some special custom UI that shows up like on this screen. Like imagine we could have a show perks button here or show whatever else. But it's nice to just be able to see it right here. So yeah, let's leave this in for now. I'll leave this in for now, but I'm pouring on it. Yeah. All right, so this is looking good. This looks good. This looks good. Delete that. Delete all of this. Okay. So don't null out town after winning a run. By doing that, it would put the save file into a state that would prevent loading from within the game. Now we simply mark whether a run was complete so that we don't automatically show the you have a saved game screen when you click challenge mode. I didn't mean to press escape there. Oh god. Okay. Fixed. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. And then we're going to get to this. How much more of this do we have? Oh, and a decent amount. Okay. Well, yeah. Oh, wait. No, we just did this one. All right. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Okay, sorry about the extra delay. Close the game. Oh yeah, you can change your character if you want to. And sorry for the people on YouTube, it's only played through Twitch. I can link my Twitch link if you want. But I did just close the game, so yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, hi again, everybody. So let's continue working with this stuff. So write a note that rather than having specific save data for everything, it's much easier to serialize the class itself. This is what we do for ability, for example. We don't happen to need an ability converter. Because all we use in here is ability data. And then we set its level later. Okay. What was this game? That was Jump Royale. So I think this all fits into here. Cannot deserialize into an abstract class or one without a parameterless constructor. I want to come up with some generic advice for what to do in these cases. And yeah, I think if you just have a pure data class, it's easiest to just serialize the whole class. Yeah, which I think is what this is all about. So I should probably just link to this. This is about built-in library. Official Microsoft documentation is good. By default, fields aren't serialized, but properties are. Sure, I'll keep that here too. And I think I'll write like the biggest issue I ran into or I've run into while working with JSON and C# are fields not being deserialized, mentioned just below. And the other one is designing or like working with converters for classes that are more than just data classes. See, now here's where we can put a link to something, but I don't remember how you do this. Ah, there we go. Yeah. And I think you can put something like this here. No, other way around. Yeah, nice. See this section? Cool. So now when you click this, it goes down to here. Perfect. That's pretty in-depth. I was wondering if it took the Twitch pronouns data for it. No, no. And if I recall correctly, the Twitch pronoun stuff is through a third party, right? Yeah, I think I set mine up there. So yeah, it was just coincidence. Okay, I wrote a note about this. I think that note is good. Make sure loading from a save file when you've built every building shows a correct special state. Same with perks and adventures. Okay, this one's easy to do. So let's go do it. We need money, but not enough money to win, I think. No, we could have enough money to win. Let's just try it. Let's just build everything. All right, so click, click, click. We have 6 of these, I think. Yep, done. Okay, so now it says no more buildings available. So we save and we load, and it should still say, that's not good. We have all the buildings, right? Yeah, we have all the buildings. It's taking my money, but it's not doing anything. All right, no more buildings available. So that is perk choice tracker has available perks. This should get updated correctly, which means it's probably getting updated before we actually have the perks, which means we're loading in the wrong order. Huh, interesting. Okay. Yeah, we load it here, but you don't have any of the buildings yet, so we need to do this later. So here, I guess. You need to load this after you've built all buildings. Or else... Or we just update the available perks toward the end, right? Yeah, why don't we do that? Yeah. Just leave this where it was. It shouldn't matter where we put this. And then there's a load from save data here. And something needs to call update available something or other. I don't know the name of any of this stuff. It's not that. All right, fine. Make this difficult. Has available perks. Here it is. This is called from update available perks. Oh, update has available. That's why I couldn't find it. I just typed update available. All right, and what calls you? Presumably load functions do. Yeah, load from save data, but we don't want to do this now. We want to do this after we've loaded everything. And then I guess we have to make this public. Update has available perks. Yeah, so we delete this. We make this public. We search for protected override. And we make all of these things public. So public. By the way, for those wondering, I like to share these little tips as I go because otherwise people don't even know that this stuff is happening. But I just changed the word protected into public with a hotkey. And I can actually change it to private as well. I can change days of the week that way too. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I don't have this on my clipboard or something. This is from Toggler. And I also have a video on this sort of thing over here if you want to take a look. But it's pretty nice. It also maintains case. Oh, apparently it doesn't maintain case. Huh, that's strange. It's supposed to. Maybe it doesn't for, yeah, maybe it doesn't for that specific one. In which case, yeah, it doesn't for that specific one. Okay. Well, anyway, I use it for a lot of different things. So like if I type positive and I want it to be negative, that same thing, I can just toggle it immediately. Okay, so now update has available perks. Toggler, oh yeah, sorry. I share, this is a very like Twitch first interactivity thing, but there's the link to it. I end up typing all the links in Twitch chat. And the thing is too, I have a way of having it type it in both of them, and it's even voice activated. If I say check out the toggler command, it will type it in both, but it'll also freeze the camera for a little bit. Yep, there it goes. Yeah. So that types it into both chats. Yeah. What's doing that? That's vocal streamer, is that what I called it? Yeah. Okay, what am I doing? I'm waiting for loaded data and then checking that out. Wondering when you'll create a video about all the things that you feel are great? I already did that essentially. That's the dev efficiency videos. And I might as well link this on YouTube as well. All right, so we need to go through all the perk choice trackers, which don't even exist here, but the menu has it. And the menu also does set save disabled. Huh. Has done first battle. Is this always true? What? What is this? Yeah, what? Hold on a second. This is super weird. We only set this. I am blown away by this. I don't know what this is. I know what it's supposed to be, but it doesn't look like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. This is set to true somewhere. Where is it set to true? Oh, I see here. Okay, never mind. So we probably yep, never mind. I understand everything's happening now. I just searched in a weird way. Not saying you should change it because it's different style from the whole code base. Oh, wow. I didn't know about that. Man, it's an interesting feature. And yeah, stream on Thursday. Hey, Puppet. I have changed my stream schedule so that I stream on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. I've been doing that for, I think, at least a month or two. But it's just morning streams usually. And it's just long enough to get me started on stuff. So like on Tuesday this week, I think I stopped after 2 hours. But today I'll probably go a little bit longer. Huh, interesting. This is very interesting. I know this is a thing. Did you meet others at Google or anywhere that were more efficient than you? So when I worked at Google, it was during the pandemic that it started. So everyone was remote. And then once that ended, I was still remote. So all that is to say, I went into the office maybe like 10 times over 3 years. And it's hard to tell about at least like keyboard efficiency over like a I don't know, remote setup because you're not watching other people code, right? Like you're seeing my hands move across a keyboard here. You're watching me. That might as well be like you're just standing behind me. But yeah, if you're working with someone and you just have meetings with them every once in a while, you don't probably see what they're doing exactly. So yeah, there probably were, is the short answer. And I just didn't have a lot of insight into that. Makes sense. I was mostly traveling. Oh, nice. How are your travels? Hope they were good. All right, so what have I done here? Have I done anything worthwhile yet? Town menu loaded. Came from save. Here it is. So we need to go through every one of the trackers that we have. And yeah, the trackers are all stored there. And we want to update them. I wonder if I should save these in some like shared data structure. Do I ever use? No, I don't ever. No, I kind of do here. But I do something very specific with them. So I think this is fine. So we're going to say update available perks. We update these after loading everything so that the load order doesn't matter. This is what's responsible for showing something like no buildings available once you've built everything. Let's go try that. Probably the best I've seen, but I'm not supposed to allow. Oh, thank you. It's just one of the things that I've liked and I've enjoyed. I think just I've always, ever since I was a kid, it was like anything with buttons was immediately like, oh my God, that's interesting to me. So video games, computers, any little gadgets and stuff. And the interface itself I thought was kind of cool, which is what led me to having a keyboard like this, right? It's not a very common thing to cut out like 50 of the keys on your keyboard. I suck at data structures and algorithms, never getting into those companies. Yeah, it is just a bunch of grinding. And hey, Taka Taka. Yeah. I remember reading Harry Potter and being like, if I lived in a world with magic, I'd be practicing all the time. But then I realized I probably wouldn't be, right? Because we live in a world with technology instead of magic. And it doesn't mean that everyone's always trying to get better. This is essentially magic. And it'd probably be the same in Harry Potter world. Anyway, the reason I mention this is because I think the interview process is something that it's semi-arbitrary. That data structures and algorithms are obviously part of every day of coding, but not to the level that Leak Code or system design interviews have you believe. So it might as well be a completely different beast. And it might as well be like learning magic and then never using a magical spell in your life. And yet, if you really wanted to work at one of those big companies that requires that sort of interview process, then you just have to do it. Hey, how unrealistic they are sometimes. Yeah, I I think there are many reasons for why the process got to be the way that it is now. And I think it is working the way that these companies want it to work. So I think people look at other industries and they see the interview maybe matches the job more closely. And they think, why can't tech be that way, or at least big tech? But I think that's ignoring what the goals of these companies are. And the goal for the companies is basically like make certain you're hiring someone good, because someone bad can do a lot of damage. So there are a lot of people who study for months and they're doing pretty well, but they're not so above everybody else that they are a definite hire. And it's like, well, then let's pass on them because we have enough people applying that we can afford to keep doing this. All right, so I just load the game now. It should work, right? It did not. Also, this says 150, but this says 25. Doesn't that mean we need to update something else? Maybe updating available perks is not enough on its own. Just it's a loss of resource and time. I think they can do damage. Also, I think losing resources and time is doing damage. Like, you don't want to hire someone, pay them a ludicrous amount of money, and then realize they haven't contributed, or they brought your code base quality down. Really can't say whether you're good or bad. Why can't my GitHub? So here's, again, I feel like there are lots of reasons why things got to be the way that they are. Your GitHub is just proof that code exists. You may not have written it. It may not work. And it may take a while to understand the value because it isn't standardized. Whereas an interview is something that within 1 hour, you will be able to tell, did this person pass my 1 hour interview? It's standardized. You're asking the same question to everybody, typically. And we know that you're the one who's giving these answers, assuming you're not typing into like a ChatGPT sort of thing on the side, because you're physically there. So it's like all those things about GitHub. It's like, how long would it take for people to look through 1,000 different applicants' GitHub repos and then build it, run it, like test out the application, understand where they did things well or what they did poorly? What if it's in a domain that you don't understand? Like, hey, I made an X-ray analyzer and it takes in X-rays that doctors give you. And you're like, well, I don't know, that sounds complex to me, but is it? Like, maybe they just use some Python library that detects like dark spots on the X-ray or something. So yeah, anyway, I think you'd have to look at this from the point of view of, I'm a company with 100,000 employees. How do I get my 100,001st employee? And it wouldn't be go look at random people's GitHub accounts. And I know that sounds like kind of bad and weird, because from the applicant perspective, it makes sense that you have a portfolio. Why can't you share that portfolio with these companies? But it's like, you'd have to understand the constraints of these large systems. So all this does is modify has available perks. It doesn't actually do anything with that. No more buildings available. This is update buy button. So this needs to be called somewhere, which is here. So update from perk choices. So there should just be like a loaded from save file kind of thing. Choose perks panel tab. This is different from this. These are the trackers. Then the tabs themselves need to know this. Build menu. Oh. I don't know where this is. I'll make my dumb brain grind. No, you don't. I don't think you have to. I mean, I think it's like what Mysterious said, that it's not like those are the best companies to work for anyway. If you want a job at, let's say, Google or Meta or whatever, any other company like this, Netflix, then yes, you need to go through that process. There's There's no real question about that. Or I guess you need some like super powerful recommendation from somebody or referral. But otherwise, it's like, okay, yes, you have to go through their processes. But that's to get into that echelon of company and that specific style of company. If you want to work for a medium-sized company, then you could probably find one that doesn't have that kind of leak code grind. And you might be happier working at the medium-sized company. You might be happier working in a small company. So I don't think it's like everyone should just immediately set their goals to that. And I don't think it works for every personality type anyway. Like I did not really enjoy my time at big companies or even medium-sized companies. And it's hard for me to tell what's exactly causing that. How much is ego versus wanting to work at a small company versus wanting creative control. Okay, so the problem is we have a panel tab here. Something uses this. Here they all are. So we would need to call into this so that we could update the buy button after loading. There's no load thing here. All the startups I talked to want 60 plus a week. Yeah. Yeah, that was a big concern when I was interviewing. And I would ask questions like, hey, how often do people work nights or weekends? And I think the answer to that is very telling. Some people are like, people work pretty late here at this company. I'd be like, oh, it's not for me. Okay, so there are two aspects that we have here. One is choosing or deciding whether this stuff is available. And then the other is showing the button or not. Has available perks. So we need to do this part after the other part. This is rather unfortunate. So there is still an ordering problem here. So we're going to do all of this. And then we need the overlay visibility controller to do something. And it doesn't currently do anything. Just load the perks panel. Okay, well, here's what I think we can do then. Load from save data, and then go make that function. And it's going to do this other stuff that I have here. Good. And then we also need to go through all these panels and update their buy buttons. And yeah, we don't have any other way of doing that. Update buy. No, we don't have an update buy button thing, do we? Update buy button enabled state. Update buy button. Yeah, so I want to call this for all of them. This is protected right now. So maybe we just make a loaded from save here. We could actually listen to it right here from town. I wouldn't need to do anything, would I? As long as the order is correct. And I don't know if that would be correct. So let's just do this. Update buy button. Done. Okay, then we call these things from here. So build panel dot loaded from save. Before I do this, let's try it the other way around. Let's try it this way. Town dot loaded from save plus equal update buy button. Yeah, let's see if that works. They heavily downplayed nights and weekends. Got to find out the hard way. Yeah, and I think the difficulty there is you might be able to set boundaries, but if all of your coworkers are expecting that you're working later too, then they're probably going to develop some animosity toward you, some bitterness. And that's assuming your management doesn't feel that way. Okay, so now this is correct, but the town menu is wrong. So what happens if I hire everyone and get everything? I'll just click on lock all. There. Town perks will be harder to test that with. So if I save and load, adventurers, that's not good. That's definitely not good. Oh, man. Has available. Where is this? Town.getAdventurers.count is less than some number. And where is this getting called from? The wrong place, apparently. Here. Loaded game from save. And what calls you? The town does. Interesting. Loaded game from save. That's at the end of all of this, which checks to see if we have the adventurers. So then what's going wrong here? I'll put a breakpoint there. This is getting hit like 3 times. Once. No, just once. Okay. Well, where's that? Oh, no, there it is. All right, so it gets hit twice. So let's look at it again. Here's once. Here's a second time. And what is this equal to? False. That's correct. Because we already have all the adventures we should have. But then why is that button... Why does it say higher? Will you highlight the button when one of them is upgradable? I think we should do that. Because, yeah, I know that that's always kind of been a little issue that's in the game. Eventually, people do kind of settle into the pattern that's there. And for challenge mode, it's less of a problem. Actually, it's not a problem. Because we highlighted green there. But yeah, we should do that. Adventure panel. So loaded from save has... Oh, this is already called? Interesting. This isn't what I want, though. I want the higher panel tab. And there's no load from save here. Oh, unless I coded this in the wrong spot, in which case that's a shame. That is a shame. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. I messed up. Yeah, this shouldn't be here. Yeah, this should be in the base class. Whoops. Okay, that should fix everything. So now the adventurer thing and the build tab, those are going to be set correctly. The town menu is still going to be wrong. Let's try it out. Good. No more adventures available. No more buildings available. Now we need the same thing for town perks. So if I just go to town generator and just delete all of these, that should fix the problem. All right, so now we shouldn't even have... Oh, they don't even show up at all? Is there a bug? Wait, what? Oh, wait, it deletes the button from over here. Yeah, so that's correct. Okay, so now if I load the game. So now that doesn't have any, that doesn't have any, and that doesn't have any. So that's all good. Why is reroll? Why is reroll there? Because we properly hit it from the town menu, but then these things are now showing the wrong values. Yeah, so the town menu itself is now incorrect. When do we hide those buttons? Higher adventure button affordability. This should probably just be done on load. Why can't we just call money changed? This passes in, I don't know, 0? Does that fix this? If that fixes this, then I know what we have to do. But I'd be incredibly surprised because I thought we did that already. But it might be that there's an ordering problem. Yeah, it does not fix things. Which means we can't just call this. But this is what's responsible for hiding things, right? If the button is visible, if the button's not visible, if we don't have available perks, then hide it. That's funny. Yeah, that's funny. Huh. Also, we call money change down here. All right, let's put a breakpoint there. Whoops. Okay, let me do this. Update whether perks are available now that buildings, adventures, etc. should have been loaded. That fixed things? What? What? So confused. How did that fix things? That's strange. Hold on a second. When this wasn't working, the code I had was this. Oh, I put this in the wrong spot. I'm a dummy. Okay, never mind. I understand. Yeah, okay. All right, let's fix it. Wow, cool. So what happens when we only give you a certain number of town perks that you can get? Like, let's say we got that one. This is worth 7 levels of stuff. So this should allow me to test this the way I want to, which is what happens when you have a reroll. This is unrelated to what I was just doing, but I don't know if there's a UI problem here. So we click this, we click this, we click this. So now we're only gonna get this one thing. We have 0 rerolls remaining. And now we should have a reroll. Yeah. Oh no, now we get dud perks. I picked the wrong thing. All right, now we gotta work our way through all of this, I guess. Yeah, whoops. If I only hadn't picked that, I wouldn't have just created like 30 more clicks for myself. But we're almost done. And there we go. So now it says no more perks available. So reroll does not show up. So if we save and load, reroll does show up, which means that we need to fix that problem. So this is a problem caused by what I just did. Oh, interesting. I haven't seen those icons before in here. Neat. And the twist should show up too now, right? Yeah, nice. Yeah, so the reroll button is still visible. How do we hide that? Update reroll button. There's disabled. There's no hiding it though. There must be a place where we hide it. There isn't? Oh, visible right there. My bad. All right, has deferred perks and not is showing trade-off perks. So we need to hide it by default? That's all? Oh, that's not bad. And that'll fix the problem where we load now and it won't show up. Or I said that backwards, but yeah, it should fix the problem. Load. Nice. Now what if we start a new game? Now it should show up. Nice. Okay. And let's make sure this is working from start to finish. Now don't get dud perks. Good. I choose this. I choose this. I choose this. No more perks available. Okay, now we got to test one more thing, which is, do we save the number of reroll tokens you have? We save it and we load it. Does it work? Okay, so now we have this. We're going to get level 5 and we have 1 reroll token. So we save, we load. We are going to get level 5 and we have 1 reroll token. And when we click this, nice. It's pretty good. Pretty good. All right, so revert all of this stuff. I don't want those changes. Okay, so made all that public. Could we also have modified this, I wonder? So the loaded game from save, each tracker just does this itself. I think there would be an ordering problem, but we should test it. Everything else looks like it's pretty much fine. This we don't need. Yeah, that looks nice. All right, let's go try it. So town menu loaded from save is calling all of these things. All of these inherit from the same class though. So we could simply put it in here. Town dot loaded from save plus equal update has available perks. Then delete it from the town menu. Where'd it go? Here. Okay, now we try that out. Unfortunately, I got rid of the town perk change, so I can't easily get them all, but I can change that again. All right, so we unlock everything, and then we get every building. Just had to click this 6 times. Done. So now we have every adventurer. That doesn't show it, but that's fine. That's because I cheated. And that works, but the town menu doesn't, because the ordering does matter. We need to call this before we call money changed. So yeah, let's just leave this where it was then. And then change whatever other thing I just did here. Okay. And let's check it in. Hooray. We're making progress. Yeah, nice. Okay, so properly load when we bought everything. When you get every town perk, adventurer, or building, it should properly reflect that state in the UI. And now it does. Thanks, Becca. All right, next up. Make sure we load twists. It's not in the tree. This needs to be persisted. I did this already. Didn't I write this up there? I think I did. All right, stop hard coding on scene loaded. What might you be? Main scene town state? It's not even there anymore, is it? No, it's not even there. So wherever we do this, we should just make sure that it's okay. Load story mode. Yeah, looks fine. I mean, I guess I'm just going to delete this because we didn't actually have to do it. Hey, Pressel. Store highest difficulty level that you've beaten. Oh, interesting. My call screening thing just went on. I know that Google has call screening. I have an Android phone, and I've just kind of never used it. But they just made an option that it can automatically use it without you having to even intervene. So someone just called my phone, and it showed me a little text summary of here's what they're calling about. It's probably a gigantic pain for them to call and be like, hey, I'm a robot. Why are you calling? I will relay this information to Adam. I wonder how many people are like me and that they don't answer their phone if they don't recognize the number. Like, if you're not already in my contacts and I'm not expecting a call, like if someone said, hey, there's going to be a delivery today, it's going to be in a 4-hour window, we'll call you 15 minutes at a time. Okay, I'll answer my phone for that. But if I just get a random call on a Tuesday and I'm not expecting anything, I'm not going to answer. And it almost bugs me that companies even use phone calls anymore. Like, for appointments and stuff, just email me. Say, hey, your appointment's coming up. And if I see that it's in my calendar for that same time, I'll be like, yep, I guess I scheduled this. Who uses a phone to phone anyway? Yeah, that. If it's important, they'll text or call back. Yeah. Yeah. In this particular case, this person who called, it's for an appointment that's coming up. So like I knew that they were going to call. I don't think it's important they called. They said they'll also text or something and I can confirm that way. So yeah. All right, so this is necessary, but it's maybe not necessary right this second. I do wonder how much this is going to impact your enjoyment of the game as a playtester. So like, let's say it's 5 days from now. and I launched the playtest version of challenge mode, how important is it that you have to climb the difficulty ladder versus being able to choose any level? And I'd say it's probably like moderately, at least moderately important. You might be an experienced player and not want to play level 1 and level 2, but that's what's going to test the balance. So yeah, I think this is pretty important. However, I don't think it's worth doing right this second. I'll move on to the other stuff for now. Note, I think this is important for the playtest. All right, store the best time you got for each difficulty level. Let's not do that yet. I just don't think this is important yet. Let's make sure this is fun first. Make sure non-challenge mode works, especially with this, which gets freed if not in challenge mode. We've tested that an okay amount, but not a lot. So if I click this, it's going to start a new run. If I save this and then go to the title screen, it's going to ask if we want to start a new one. And then over here, it's going to ask if we want to continue a regular mode run. I don't remember what got us into this state. So possibly this is correct, but let's do this. Let's click a spell and then save. And then go back to the title screen and then load. And yeah, our spell was clicked. We were in the right spot. Okay. I mean, it seems like it's fine. There were no issues here right now. Make sure we save challenge mode objective details. Okay, yeah. Make sure booleans like built everything are being restored correctly. Built everything. It's not even a boolean, but it is being restored correctly. So this we have to do, and I'm losing some steam here. Make sure we take customer bonus from challenge mode into account. Where's that? Oh, yeah. It's a good thing I wrote this down because I wouldn't have remembered that. So yeah, these are still important. Save how many treasure chests you've purchased so we can restore the proper cost. Yeah. Keep track of how many town perks, how many reroll tokens. We've done that already. All trade-off abilities save their properties, but the names may change over time. May want to use JSON property name attribute to make this clearer. What? I think I did this as we went. So it's probably some kind of unit test. I don't think there's a problem here. First of all, it's called generated ability now. But if I search for every single generated ability, I think I did this. Property. No property. Property is there. Property is there. Property is there. Good, good, good. Yep. Yep. Nothing. Yep. We only have 3 more to look through. Yeah, so I did this for all of them already. Yeah, looks good. Just move this up here. Make sure you can do this. Load a save file that has level 1 of a town perk. Get level 2. Make sure there's no error about this. If there is, there's a problem in chose perk. Okay. Let's go try that. Town generator. So just delete all this stuff again. I sure hope nothing's broken here. I'd love to not have to fix a bug because the bug doesn't exist. All right, so we get a town perk. We get level 1 of it. We save. We load. We get level 2 of it. Did it make any issues? No. And now what happens if we get the warehouse? It should have 24 storage slots. Build warehouse. 3 rows. Yep. Okay, now what if we do the same thing, but this time we have the warehouse to begin with? So we get the warehouse first. There. And then we get the town perk there. So that works, of course, but I didn't do any saving or loading. Now we load. And now we get the next level of that town perk. Good. And what happens if I get another level after that? Cool. Save and load. Thanks for the resub. How you doing? Happy 26 months. We have been hard at work over here. And it is paying off. Oh my God, this is like the greatest change here. Need to change the text at the start screen. Look at this. Save files don't work. Not anymore. Where is that? New challenge run? Save files don't work. Oh, this is going to feel so good. Ooh, okay, so does the rest of this still make sense? Welcome to challenge mode. This is still a work in progress. Whoa, 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 whoa. How do we... Yeah, delete that. All right, this is still a work in progress. Expect rough edges and poor balance. Yeah, let's just keep it at this is still a work in progress. I think whatever implication you take from this is fine. Be vocal with your feedback on Discord. That's still correct. The goal is to provide replayability. It's a success if you're having fun and feel like you want to keep playing. Yeah, if I just deleted half of this, by the way, what happened? Nothing. Okay, good. That's fine. Got home from a long office day. Looking forward to compensating with a half day tomorrow. That does sound good. And it's a Friday. That'll be quite wonderful. Man, I've been craving pizza. This has nothing to do with what you just said, Hef, but I think you should know. I would like to eat some pizza. All right, this looks good. Oops. Remove note about save files not working. All right. Okay, so there are a few little things left to do. But we're pretty much done with saving and loading. Not entirely. Also, if any of these little things turns out to be a gigantic thing, I'm going to be upset. Will they? I don't know. We'll figure that out later. Basically finished the save system for challenge mode. That's what you said yesterday. Said you'd call Sears. I'll call today. You'll call now. I'll call now. Yes, I did say that yesterday. At the beginning of the day, I thought it would only take me yesterday, and it took me longer. And I was wrong. But now we're in pretty good shape. The stuff that we're not saving is still important stuff, but I don't think it's going to be too hard, as I mentioned. So now when you start a run, if you were to go unlock the treasure room, we need to be offered it. There it is. Okay, so we get the treasure room. We click this. This costs 25 gold. We click buy, save, and load. The next one should cost more, but it's going to probably say 25. Yeah, so that's a bug right now. And then we're not saving how long you've spent in the game so far. And we're not saving how long you've spent. Is it obvious if we just look at details? Time elapsed. There should be something else here, right? Cumulative money earned. What's prior money amount? What is this? I'm not sure why we do this. Why don't we just fetch this from the town? If this is always town.money. Why do we need a variable for this? Oh, because we don't know what the prior amount was. Money changed only returns the new amount. So we save this so that we can get the delta because town doesn't just admit it, but it could. Yeah. Okay. That's sure, that's fine. We save this because because town.money changed only emits the current total, not the delta, and we need the delta to know how much to increase cumulative money earned. What happened? I typed it and then I untyped it. Bye. Okay. So I think we need to save it. If we didn't, what would happen? We get how much money you have. No, I think it's fine. I don't think we need to save that because it's set on a init. We just need to update it. So save elapsed, time elapsed. Update this on load. And anything else? Oh, save your cumulative gold, of course. Save this. And maybe save whether we've shown the warnings. Showed 15 minutes, showed 10-minute warning. If time remaining is less than, yeah, we need to save this. Anything else? Not the town, not the labels. Game state. Game state. The game will just end again. So we don't need to save that. We intentionally do not save game state so that the game end screen shows again when you load the file, which you shouldn't be doing because it's not discoverable. And everything else looks good, yeah. Okay, so I think that'll be pretty easy. Next up is make sure we take this into account. This is where? In town. Could we compute this? Oh my God, I just realized there's a problem with this. We used to count down. The timer counted down from 45 minutes. So at most, you could have 9 5-minute intervals. But now that it counts up, so there's no limit. So instead of having 9 more customers, you can have an unlimited amount. So we probably need to put an end to that at some point. Yeah, I'll write that down. Make sure this has a limit to how high it can go. It used to be limited by the timer counting down. Yeah, nice. I wonder if there's anything else I'm missing. I tried to keep track of everything as I coded it. What will need to change if I save this stuff? I don't think there's anything else. Like quest stuff should automatically save, right? If we do this and then we... What is going on? Oh, I see. All right, so we're 1 out of 12, save and load. Yeah, we're still 1 out of 12. Okay. Yeah, that stuff should all be saved. And same thing with like the hunger meter here. It's at about 60% maybe. We load. Just, yeah. Yeah, that stuff shouldn't be problematic. Whew. All right. Well, what a day. So I want to get this stuff done and maybe I can do it today. I pretty much have to figure that out, I guess today. But then what's happening after this? Get back to working on content, this stuff. Yeah, what do we still have left? Add content. So some more meta perks. The challenge track. Okay, yeah. The tutorial, which we could probably skip for now. balance, and metrics. Okay, so challenge track, some more meta perks, probably some more perks and twists in general. This is all content. We don't need to have all of it at the get-go. And then what did I say? We need metrics. And eventually the tutorial, but I don't care about that for now. Let people struggle for the next week. We'll help them after another couple weeks probably. Yeah, it's pretty reasonable. So we could try to fit some of this stuff into tomorrow. Again, I mentioned this before. My goal is to get the playtest version out as soon as possible in a state where people can actually give me some value and that they're having fun. So for example, let's say we had one perk here. Like that's not a state where people can really test things out. So having a bunch of them where you actually have to choose what do you want, how do you work your way through this path. I think we might want to turn this into a tree so that there's just less for you to look at first. About to ditch OneNote. Do you still think Obsidian is a good alternative? Yeah, I think so. I use it on a daily basis. Yeah, I think if we had like 50 options here, it'd be too much for you to look through. And it might make you feel like I'll just click something here, right? Yeah. I have it in future work. But like we may want a tree for meta perks just so that you don't have a million to look through. Then again, maybe we could just increase some of the costs. So that many aren't available at first. Yeah, we'll get feedback on that too. Okay, let me go find someone to raid. Let's find someone new. Okay. English, same category. All right, so we're looking for people I'm not following who have less than about an hour and a half of... Hey, here's already a person. Wait, game dev conference. I want to find someone who's just like streaming regular stuff. But otherwise, it would be a good choice. Sleepless game dev. Okay, let's go with them. What was the answer to Obsidian? Yeah, I still recommend it. Yeah, I have been using it daily for quite some time. And I plan on continuing to use it. And if you want, I think all of my setup is here in this command. Yeah. So take a look through some of these if you're curious. So I use sync thing, I publish, I host that I published. It's not just some local database. All right, so I've not watched this person before. Let's go check them out. They're doing some game dev too. I can't tell if they have a yellow tint on their camera or if everything in the room is just yellow. Thank you all for being here. I'll be back tomorrow. And it should be a full day of streaming. And I think tomorrow will be pretty fun. I hope. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here while I struggle through all this stuff. Take care.